What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 4 things I would do if I was a guy in Tampa who wanted to get lean by summer, right? And if you're a guy that you probably have like, a little bit of belly fat, you're not as lean as you know that you could be. Maybe you've been prioritizing other things in your life, just kind of been focused on your work, your relationship. You know you're capable of getting fit, but you've just been neglecting it. But you start thinking like, okay, I really want to create this lifestyle change. I'm really ready to make the shift. And by summer, I want to be able to, actually go take my shirt off. Like if I'm out on the boat with my buddies, like I don't have to feel self-conscious, be the last one to take my shirt off. If I'm at the beach, I can just not have to feel like, out of place. I can just be like, feel like the best version of myself, be lean and muscular and have a body that reflect the confidence that I know that I'm capable of. So if that sounds like you, you're going to want to stick around for this video because this is exactly who it's for. This is not for you if you're like, don't even live in Tampa. You don't even care about being the best version of yourself. And if you're not actually like trying to get leaner and build muscle, then you could just click off this video, go do something else with your time. But in the case that this could be valuable for you, I strongly encourage you to stick around for the whole thing because I'm not gonna hold anything back. I'm gonna share all the sauce with you, help you become fit, the best version of you. And the only reason I can talk about this, guys, I've been helping guys right here in Tampa for over 2 years now. I've been coaching in total over 5 years. I've definitely created over 100 total transformations physically, mentally, and helped lots of guys be the best version of themselves. And today, if that sounds like you, I'm gonna help you do the exact same thing. So let's get right to it, guys. So first, absolutely essential thing you guys are gonna have to focus on, and this is most likely your bottleneck. Maybe you're doing some training, whether it's like an apartment gym, just here and there at the gym, but more than likely your nutrition is not dialed in. So that's the first thing we have to absolutely optimize is our nutrition, guys, okay? And a lot of you guys, because I talk to you guys on the phone all the time, and what I hear is very common is a lot of you guys don't really have a lot of good nutrition habits that are like foundational in your life. So maybe you're only eating like twice a day, right? Or sometimes even only once. And you think like, okay, that's good because I'm eating less calories, so that should help me get leaner. But that's not a winning strategy because when you're kind of depriving yourself, being very restrictive, that's a very easy way to then accidentally overindulge if you're like going out to eat or doing something like that. So what I always teach my clients that I work with is to have this type of mentality when it comes to nutrition, that food is fuel, habits rule, right? And when you're fair to your body won't be fair to you. So instead of immediately thinking like, hey, let's just be restrictive, let's really pull back calories, let's eat only once or twice a day. I want us to be thinking like, hey, how can I play on the offensive? How can I set these good non-negotiable habits periodically throughout my day? So I always invite my clients to consider eating all up to 3, 4, sometimes even 5 times a day. Even if your goal is to get leaner, right? I want you eating more periodically throughout the day because that's going to actually what's going to help us boost our metabolism, build muscle. And the more muscle you have, the easier it is to like get rid of that belly fat, right? So I always say like building muscle is like the investment account of a fat loss journey. The more muscle you have, it just makes everything easier. So if you're eating once or twice a day, being restrictive, it's going to be super hard to build muscle effectively. You might lose a little bit of weight, but you're going to bounce right back, right? So what I always teach my clients is food is fuel, habits rule, and let's build these non-negotiable habits. So some things you guys can do, like almost all my most successful clients I've worked with, they love doing the eggs and avocado toast. This is like a staple for us. Great way to start your day. Okay. You don't have to do, I'm going to give you guys a bunch of options, but that's a great, good winning strategy when you're grocery shopping is you always want to stay on the outside of the grocery store. That's where you see all the fresh fuel. If you go to the inside of the grocery store, that's where all that processed shit, we don't want none of that, right? Keep it clean, guys. Be fair to your body, right? Good rule of thumb, if it didn't exist on Earth 200 years ago, we don't want to put it in our body today, right? It's kind of like putting gas in a car. When you put the right kind of gas in your body's going to respond well, help you function well, help you build muscle, help you get leaner. So I love avocados, all this type of stuff, guys. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, good carbs, right? A lot of guys that are trying to get leaner have this belief in their mind that like carbs are the enemy. So like, oh, I have to completely cut out carbs. Carbs are great. They just get a bad reputation because they're the easiest nutrient to accidentally overeat, right? So it's obviously like if you're eating just a massive bowl of pasta or a bunch of pizza, it's gonna be really hard for your goals of like getting leaner or getting more muscular by summer. But if you're eating the right kind of carbs, like these, right? Nice sweet potatoes, you throw this in the microwave for 8 minutes, super convenient, super easy to cook, right? Some rice, right? Some bread, like some wheat bread, stuff like that. So clean carbs, that's actually gonna help us like build muscle super effectively and also do it in a way that's sustainable. If you totally have to cut out carbs, I see this happen with a lot of guys where they end up falling off because it's not super sustainable. They also don't get the aesthetic that they want, right? They might get a little bit leaner, but they're gonna kind of look like the skinny fat and they don't really look like the muscular, lean, six-pack type of look that they want. Every guy that I know that's got like a physique that I'm like, wow, I really respect your physique and you've been working out for a long time, you know what you're doing, they all eat carbs, right? Because carbs are great. They really help you feel fueled, they help you build muscle, and I'm just a big fan of them in general, okay? So food is fuel, habits rule. Stand outside of the grocery store. Bananas are awesome, guys, right? Bread. If I was getting bread, I'd get something like this, right? Just like some wheat bread, okay? Carbs are not your enemy, okay? If you eat that in the morning, and then you want to always think like the guys that I work with are normally pretty busy, right? They normally are like going to work, they're going extended periods of time where they're focused focus on other things in their life. So you need to be proactive. When I say proactive, it's like you need to think in advance, what types of meals can I just have in my arsenal that's super easy for me to bring with me if I'm going to work, that I can just like stick to, so I'm eating every few hours. But if you're going 7-8 hours without eating and your body is famished, have you ever just been absolutely famished and then you drive by Chipotle and you're like, all right, I'm gonna get a bowl with everything because my body is like literally screaming at me that it needs fuel, right? That doesn't happen when you're smart and ahead of time and actually scheduling out your meal. Okay, so I want you to think like, we're not doing the intermittent fasting anymore. Okay, it's funny because I talk to you guys all the time. Every time I get on the phone with you guys and I'm like, hey, what are you doing with nutrition right now? Every single person that tells me when they're 20, 30 pounds overweight, right? They don't have the body that they want. And I ask them, they're like, oh, I'm doing intermittent fasting. I'm eating twice or 2 to 3 times a day. I'm eating out a lot, right? It's like, I'm not surprised, okay? Because you're taking the easy route. It's actually a little bit harder. It takes a little bit more effort to like be proactive and be like, okay, how can I actually structure my day with these good, medium-sized, protein-dense, good, balanced, clean meals? You can do that. It only takes extraordinary effort for like a week or two. Once you have it figured out, it just becomes a habit. Once it's a habit, it's like brushing your teeth. It's just like something that you do. So nutrition is super easy for me. I don't have to count calories. I don't have to like hyperfixate on every macronutrient and I'll feel restrictive. I don't feel like I'm not having fun. I'm just doing the things that I already believe myself that I should do. I'm just doing my habits. Kind of like brushing your teeth is easy for you. Kind of like your work habits are easy for you. Nutrition habits have become easy for me because I'm just become used to it, right? So I'm gonna give you guys some more recommendations, stuff that you guys can do. Yeah, if you're ever not sure, let's say you don't shop at Publix, so let's say you're going somewhere else. But I want you to do, if you're looking at the nutrition facts, you're always looking for low added sugars. To see added sugars right there, see how it says 0? That's good, okay? And when you always want to look at the ingredients, and ideally you don't want to get stuff that's got a million ingredients, right? So if you look at the ingredients here, it's like oats, right? It's egg whites, it's root fiber, right? This is like relatively clean ingredients, right? Compared to if I grab these pastries, powdered sugar coated pastries, holy cow, I got powdered sugar on my hands, right? Let's see, 9 grams of added sugars, and it's got like a million ingredients on here, right? Bleached wheat flour. I don't even want to touch this stuff. Yeah, also you want to program your mind to like hate stuff that makes your body feel like shit. Okay, so one of the biggest paradigm shifts that fit people possess is they always are understanding like literally the food that you put in your body on a cellular level can transform you from the inside out, right? So when you understand that, you become addicted to putting the right kind of foods in your body because it makes you feel like $1,000,000. You understand like, wow, I can actually transform myself just by putting the right ingredients in my body, compared to the alternative when you're putting the wrong types of foods in your body, is you become repulsed by that because you hate that feeling afterward, right? So the most fit people I know, right? Hundreds of guys that I've worked with, when I teach them how to actually approach nutrition properly, I teach them this. I say, you don't want to be motivated by how you feel before the meal. You want to be motivated by how you feel after the meal, right? So before the meal, when you just are making decisions based on your cravings, your pleasure, right? And you're motivated like, oh, I want something that really is going to taste super good, right? But if you can take yourself from before the meal and you can take yourself to how you're going to feel after you finish the meal, you know, when you finish a meal and it's a good nutritious meal, you feel great after. You feel really fueled, you feel really happy, you feel really proud of yourself. You're really like let's go. I feel like a beast, right? I feel like the fit version of me, right? And it feels really good to take actions that are aligned with your goals of who you want to be and the outcomes that you want for your life, like getting lean by summer, right? Compared to the alternative is like, if you eat like shit and you know, like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. One, your body feels terrible, right? You feel like probably super bloated. You just feel like kind of gross because you put the wrong type of foods in your body, right? So that's like super imperative when it comes to approaching nutrition properly, is like we're taking care of our body. All right, guys, so let's head to the next location. The second thing I would make sure I implement if I was a guy in Tampa trying to get lean for summer is going out to eat at the right places. Going out to, okay. It's probably unrealistic to ask you to not eat out at all and only cook like your fuel meals that are prepared, like the eggs, maybe like the protein oatmeal, protein yogurt, you know, lean meats, stuff like that. It just tends to normally not be realistic with just guys that I work with. They normally are gonna at least like once, twice, maybe a few times a week, like just things are gonna come up with their schedule where they're gonna have to eat out. So the whole idea is when you understand the overarching important principles when it comes to nutrition, you can eat out very confidently without feeling like, man, like I'm throwing off my rhythm and I can't get lean and strong, right? So I always recommend, I'm gonna recommend like my favorite Tampa restaurant if you're looking for something that's like relatively cost effective, still great fuel, but something that you can do like a few times a week. First and foremost, guys, Naked Farmer, right? That's why I'm standing right here. This one, the reason it's great is because it's all locally sourced food. So it's very clean, it's very easy to like, you know, be fair to your body. That doesn't mean that you can't do it wrong. Good fuel is not the only thing that's necessary for getting lean and strong. If you're eating like good fuel, but you're eating way too much of it, right? Like way too much carb, right? Way too much in general, it's gonna be like very hard to get defined. So it's like these good fuel meals, yes, but you also want to manage your portions properly, right? So if I went to Naked Farmer, I'm not gonna get like the rice rice and the mac and cheese, right? I'm not gonna get the mac and cheese and the sweet potato. I'm not gonna get like this, throw out the proportions. I'm gonna actually keep it balanced. So I might just get the greens for the base. I might just get sweet potatoes, some more veggies, maybe the broccoli, and then get like a protein that I like, right? So you want to still think like, if everything I ate today, let's say you're going out to dinner or something, if this was all on one plate, what would that plate look like, right? Sometimes if you're going to Mexican food and you're getting chips and guac, and then, you know, you're getting fajitas, and it's also got rice, and it's got more tortillas. If you put that all in one plate, the ratio would be way thrown off. So you always want to think in like these good macro ratios, right? So like if I have my plate here, right, I want like, should be look kind of something like this, you know? I got like my protein, I got like my carbs, and I got like something like fats or like veggies, something like that, right? So it's like a good balance, okay? Shouldn't be like totally out of proportion, these meals that you're having. It should be nice and moderate. You don't need to be super restrictive, but it shouldn't be like in excess either. You want to find that a sweet middle ground. So Naked Farmer is great. Kava is great, which is across the street here in downtown. Some other good ones, Water Plus Flour, which is like in Bayshore. That's a great one where you can hit these same parameters. Some other good ones, Fresh Kitchen is a great one. So stuff like that where you can kind of get these bowls. So those are some of my favorites. I actually have a guide that I created that's got like all my favorite spots to go out to eat in Tampa. If you want that, just message me on Instagram. Tell me that you came from this video. I'll send that over to you free. But let's go get to the next thing that's going to be absolutely essential to get leave for summer right here in Tampa, guys. The next thing I would absolutely implement into my life if my goal was to get lean by summer, so I could like, you know, kind of get rid of the belly fat, get some more muscle, you know, get some bigger arms, bigger chest, all that good stuff, is you're going to have to do some type of resistance training, guys. Okay. So resistance training, this is the type of training that's catered towards developing muscle. So technically there's all different types of resistance training you can do, but anything that you're applying resistance to your muscles, that's, you know, geared towards developing muscle, that's resistance training. So, you know, fundamentally CrossFit is a type of resistance training. Body weight workouts, calisthenics is a type of resistance training. You just got to be doing something where you're developing muscles. Like I said, building muscle is the investment account of a fat loss journey. So if you're just focused on getting more active and eating cleaner, being restrictive, you might lose a little bit of weight, but the chances of you getting it back are very high. Whereas when you're doing it the right way, you're actually, you know, focusing on your investment account, building muscle. That's how you can actually lose the belly fat, body fat. You're not just losing weight, you're losing fat. There's a difference. One's going to get you like the type of look that you want. The other just going to like look like progress on the scale. Okay. So when it comes to resistance training, like I said, there's all different types that you can do. I technically have a preference, which is resistance training using machines in the gym. Okay. And the reason why is because I've come to learn that this is the absolute most efficient and effective way to do resistance training to build muscle effectively, right? So like if you wanted to just be less effective with your building muscle, you could do some body weight stuff. Like I do have a couple clients that, you know, they have families and they're busy. So they have to like, they build little at-home gyms in their garage and whatnot. And they can technically get into a good resistance training routine doing that. I'm just always going to be an advocate of the gym because I think one, it's a great way to like become a part of a tribe. There's other people here that are working on themselves. So it's a great place that you might meet other people that are fit. And when you know more fit people, you know more people that are growth minded, you kind of feel like you're part of the tribe and it helps you become more consistent. It's also just like the thing that fundamentally changed my life. Like before I went to the gym, you know, I was not nearly as self-confident as I am now. It's been just kind of like that keystone habit in my life to always reconnect to my own ability and, yeah, make myself proud and grow in self-esteem. And also there's machines here, right? So machines are the best way that we can be extremely time and energy efficient when it comes to building muscle. So like I am definitely not an expert on CrossFit training. I do not know a ton about HIIT training, but I am an absolute expert on the science behind muscle growth. Okay. I've invested hundreds of hours, thousands of dollars. My coach, his name is Chris A. Beardsley. You can look him up on Instagram. He is like one of the top exercise physiologists in the entire world, an absolute master of hypertrophy, the science of building muscle, master of understanding the physiology, all the science behind it. Okay. When I was a trainer, initially, I didn't know all that fancy science stuff. I just like looked at a program online. I did Thor's Thunder God routine. I was going in, kind of chasing the burn, just doing the no pain, no gain. Like that's kind of what's very traditional. And it served me. I did that for a couple years. When I was a trainer in 2023, I'd already been a trainer for a couple years. I had a really bad injury on my shoulder that knocked me out of the gym for 2 full months, which is like a super big deal because when you're a trainer and you're out of the gym, like that's your entire livelihood. And around that time, I was like, damn, maybe I don't know as much about building muscle as I claimed that I did, because really, like, yes, I knew all these cool little exercises and stuff, but the only real scientific knowledge I had about building muscle was tear down the muscle and it'll build back bigger with the protein. That's all I thought. That was the only data I had in my brain about building muscle. So when I was injured and I realized, okay, maybe maybe I should put my pride aside for once and not just pretend to be a know-it-all. I actually learn from somebody that has the results that I want to have. And I came across this guy on social media, I think just through like an advertisement, and I started binging all his content. And I was like, holy cow, like this guy actually knows what he's talking about. And I like watched a ton of his videos. I ended up hiring him. I paid $3,000 to work with him, and we did like Zoom calls. We did where he taught me like basically all the science behind building muscle, and it was super valuable for me because really what I came to learn from Chris was this, a very important idea, that it's just the last 5 reps before failure on a set that do anything for building muscle, right? So for you, and you want to get lean by summer, you want to start getting in better shape, you most likely don't want to feel inefficient with your workouts. You don't want to walk in the gym, you know, just kind of like do some stuff and like walk out and feel like, man, I don't know if I really got the best bang for my buck, right? But when you understand that it's just the last 5 reps before failure that build muscle, and you design your entire plan around going after those reps, that's how you can like go in the gym and actually get the best bang for your buck with your time, okay? So the difference is, instead of doing a lot of lightweight, doing like a lot of reps, you know, kind of going slow and like just kind of chasing the burn, I want to teach you how to train heavier. So we're going to use this stable machine. We're going to try to train with heavier weights. Okay, obviously first things first, it's like you want to make sure your form is immaculate, okay? So I always say comfy first, gritty second. First comes the form. Once the form is perfect, then it's like, okay, now you want to put a weight that's going to ideally get you right near that failure point. When I say failure, I'm talking about like, you know, when you do a set and you get to the end and you can't do any more, you want to get like very close to that point, okay? It's not like saying you got to like literally hit failure on every single one, but you want to get very close to that point. If you're not approaching that failure point, you could be just wasting your time when it comes to building muscle. It's just the ones before failure that do anything, right? So instead of doing, you know, 3, 4 sets, 10, 12, 15 reps and wasting our time, I'd rather teach you how to do heavier weight and get to those important reps earlier rather than later. So this is what it would look like in real time, okay? I already know I have good form here.
Yeah, please.
So I'm pushing my hardest with every single rep, guys. So these are the important ones that are coming up. You should have to grunt a little bit. That's how you know you're getting gritty. You should be pulling some faces. Oh. See how I was right near that failure point? I couldn't have done any more. I think that was 8. So I technically could have gone a tiny bit heavier and got near failure at 5 or 6. That would have been a little bit more efficient. But that's like doing very high quality set right there, right? So I always tell my clients, like, if building muscle was like cutting through a steak, a lot of traditional fitness programs out there, they're gonna have you cutting through that steak with a dull butter knife, right? So you'll go in and you'll do a lot of stuff in your workout. Probably 3, 4 sets, like I said, probably 10, 12, 15 reps, probably like doing more of the bro split, chest try, back by, shoulders, leg, breaking it up like that. But the problem with that methodology, and that's what I used to do, is that's being very ineffective with each thing that you're doing, right? So like if you're cutting through a steak with a butter knife, you might do a lot of stuff, but because the knife is dull, you're barely making a progress in that steak, right? When you learn how to do the gritty reps, right, where it's heavier, right, and you're getting right near that failure point, you're pushing your hardest on every single set that you're doing. That's like using a steak knife, right? So you can do less total things because each thing that you do is going to be very effective. So it's not just about doing more when it comes to building muscle, it's about getting the most out of everything that you do, right? So instead of the bro split, chest try, back by, shoulders, legs, like that, I'd rather you doing full body 3, 4 times per week where you're getting super heavy, gritty sets, kind of like I just showed you, on multiple muscle groups, multiple times throughout the week. That is the sauce. That is the sauce to like invest properly. Remember I said, you know, your goal is like you want to be more muscular, more defined, but you don't want to be like a jacked bodybuilder. You want to be leaner. But like I said, the more muscle that you have, the easier it is to get leaner. So lifting heavy doesn't mean you're going to get bulky. Doesn't mean you're going to become a huge bodybuilder. Okay, if you ever like, Jake, I'm getting way too big. All right, at that point, I've never had a client like say like, dude, I'm becoming way too much like a bodybuilder. Like, I gotta stop training. It's never happened. So that fear is like literally an excuse that your mind is creating for you to like keep you taking the easy route, keep you playing small, keep you stuck, right? You're not gonna turn to a bodybuilder by lifting heavy. This is gonna actually help you become that lean, more athletic version of yourself that you wanna be. Because the more muscle you have, like I said, help you boost your metabolism, help you get leaner. So become absolutely essential if your goal is, you know, to get lean, especially by summer, like everything we talked about, fueling up properly, picking the right types of places to eat out. But you want to get in a good routine where you're doing resistance training, focusing on developing your muscles. I strongly recommend getting gritty with machines in the gym. And what this can look like is like, obviously we're going to have to evaluate with your routine. Some of my clients work out in the morning. Some of them do in the afternoon. Like I said, some of them have to go to their home gym. Most of them go out to a gym. We got to figure out what's going to be the best gym. Is it your apartment gym? Is it like a gym nearby, a commercial gym? We're going to go like on the cheaper side, like Crunch or EOS. Are we going to go for a nicer gym like Gold's, lifetime, something like that. So we gotta figure out like what makes the most sense for you. So it's not like a cookie cutter solution when it comes to like what are the best habits and the best plan to get you where you want to be. It's very personalized. And that's like why I actually have expertise in this area. I've been helping guys personalize their routines. I've been learning so much stuff about like what it takes to actually succeed when it comes to setting sustainable habits, you know, just from all the guys I worked with, but then also all the books I've studied. I've invested over $50,000 in mentorship. I've studied well over 100 personal development books that's all catered towards helping people become the best version of themselves. That is personally the subject I'm absolutely obsessed about. That's why I'm here on this earth, is to become a master of understanding what it takes to optimize yourself. It's why I literally wear this on my bracelet. What does that say? Optimize, right? That's my favorite word in the English language, guys. That's why my business is called Optimize Fitness. That's why my clients are called optimizers, right? Because it's all about becoming the best version of you. Because I have a fundamental belief that we are not placed on this earth to be a fraction of ourselves. We're not born to be a little bit chunky. We're not born to, you know, lack self-confidence, to be, you know, a little bit insecure, to not want to take our shirt off outside. We were born to thrive and to crush in all aspects of life. We were born to be the best version of ourselves. We were born to optimize. We were born to be an optimizer. We were born to get gritty. We were born to build muscle. We're born to be lean. We're born to thrive and live without any self-limitations. We were born to live in complete abundance, become the best version of ourselves, earn self-esteem, shine our light proudly, boldly, and empower others to do the same. That is my belief. That's why I do what I do. That's why I'm here on this earth, to share that message that you're playing small does not serve the world. Give yourself the permission to shine bright, be a freaking lighthouse. What does a lighthouse do? It stands tall. It guides the way, right? It guides the boats. That's what I want for you. I want you to become the lighthouse version of yourself, become the best version of you. Wake up every day on the offensive, not the defensive. Not in scarcity, not limiting yourself, not just playing small, but wanting to take it on every single day. Set your new habits, stay true to your vision, live in alignment with your goals and your values and your purpose. And that way, when you're on your deathbed, you feel like, man, I left nothing in the tank. I became all that I had the potential to become. I want that for you. All right, let's get to the next one. The final thing, guys, that's going to be absolutely essential to help you get lean by summer if you're right here in Tampa is getting active. And there's a lot of different ways that you guys can get active. And my recommendation for you is sustainability over intensity. We want to find what are those habits that we can very practically fit into your daily rhythm, into your routine to help you actually work on your cardio. Okay, so all my clients, like I got a client that likes to do basketball on his off days. I got a client that likes to just do 10K steps, right? So he goes on walks around his neighborhood, right? I got a couple clients that are into biking. I got a client, Devin, that he bikes all the way over to Clearwater, right? I got some clients that they just like to do 10, 15 minutes on the treadmill, on the elliptical after their gritty reps, right? So we got to find what's that thing for you that's just going to help you become an active person, right? If you're always stagnant, like when I look at all my most successful clients, the ones that struggle to get lean are the ones that I look at their monthly step counter and they're barely moving, right? It's very hard to actually get leaner when you're not moving that much, but when you actually have it incorporated in your routine that you're getting active. It's so easy in Tampa, right? Like if you're literally like spend some time walking on Bayshore, walk on the Riverwalk, right? Oh, I do like little weekly meetups with all my clients where we can go jog, right? We do that a couple times a week. So it's kind of like, you know, if the gritty reps was on this side, this side of the spectrum, you're getting active on this side of the spectrum. It's like gritty reps is just about it's the investment account. It's gonna help us build muscle. Getting active, that's like our active income, right? That's what's gonna like help us, you know, actually like expend energy every day, which is super important too, right? But when it comes to that, it's like it could be something as simple as, you know, just coming on the elliptical, doing something like this, right? That's obviously super easy, right? I got only one client that likes the elliptical, my client Lee. Most of my clients, they like to come just on the treadmill, kind of like this, and they can go on incline power walk. You could go like level 3 or 4, and you just get like a nice brisk speed. You just want to like get your sweat on, get active, get after it, right? And it doesn't have to be anything that's impossible. Just trying to find like what's that thing that's going to be sustainable for you, turn into a habit. That's like I said, the active income, that's going to help us get lean in conjunction with the right fuel habits, and the right gritty reps that we're actually building muscle. If we implement those steps, guys, it's going to be incredibly hard to fail and actually get it, becoming that best version of ourselves, becoming that fit version of ourselves, getting lean by summer. Let's get it. So guys, we just went over the 4 absolutely essential steps to help us get lean by summer right here in Tampa. I'm going to throw you guys a little bonus right here, and it's going to be mindset. So remember I shared earlier with you guys, when it comes to the guys that I work with, it's not like we're just doing a little goal. Like, of course you want to get lean by summer, but in reality, you don't want to just be lean in a few months. You want to be lean for the rest of your life. You want to just feel like, man, I am that new version of me that is always lean, that's always defined, it's always muscular. So when it comes to doing it the right way, it takes time, it takes patience, and it's going to take an entire identity transformation. It's going to take adopting new worldviews, new beliefs about how you see yourself, and, you know, setting new standards, holding yourself to a higher standard, right? And just treating yourself now as if you already were that fit version of you, right? And that's why, like, when it comes to, you know, becoming that version of you, I always say, like, with my guys that we work with, you're becoming an optimizer. An optimizer is like, I help them improve their mindset. I help them adopt new ways of thinking, new belief, right? So for example, every week I create my clients a little sheet like this, where it's a different belief. It's a different way of seeing the world. It's a different, value that you can adopt, because you got to understand that you can only take actions based on the data and the beliefs that you have in your mind, right? So if you're never working on your mind, if you're just feeding your mind with, things that are, just whatever, random trash, if you're surrounding yourself with people that aren't sharing growth-minded beliefs, it's going to be very hard to take fit, good decisions, right? If you surrounded yourself with fit people, if you fed your mind with things that actually were empowering, things that help you think more productive thoughts, you think it would be harder or easier to actually take the right actions and make better decisions? Be a lot easier, right? So that's why you want to have the right ways of thinking. You want to work on your mindset, okay? And this isn't like a very woo-woo, like intangible thing. This is like very practical. It's something that it's like a discipline in your life. There's a lot of ways that you can actually practically work on improving your mindset. So some of those could be literally just listening to audiobooks every time you're in the car. There's some great audiobooks. I have a lot of videos on my channel. I have a video called, the 4 books every man should read. And I shared like all my favorites when it comes to, renewing your mind, adopting more empowering beliefs. Some of my favorites, just to recap, like Secrets of the World Class, right? It's like all different ways of thinking of people that are already fit and successful, right? Because if you think like a fit and successful person, what's going to happen? You're going to become a fit and successful person. Like, think if my mind went into your body right now, what would happen, right? I would get super fit in a few months in your body, just because I have different beliefs than you have, right? So if you had all the beliefs that I have and I could transfer them to you immediately, you would actually want to take the actions that would help you create different results, right? So it's like a lot of personal growth is all about discarding beliefs and stories that don't serve us and adopting beliefs and stories that do serve us. And that's what I help my clients do, because I'm, not just a fitness coach to like help you get a little goal. I want to see you like totally transform, kind of like how I was able to transform from the very like stagnant and lazy version of myself into the very productive, growth-minded version of myself. So that's why I understand that this stuff, while yes, it might feel a little bit intangible, it might feel like a little bit like, I don't know if I can really grasp my fingers around it. I truly believe that it's super important to work on stuff like this that's a little bit more metaphysical, a little bit more mental, to ultimately help you not just, create this result for a few months, but do it in a way that's sustainable. So that way you can just actually love your fitness journey, love being the best version of yourself, and love optimize. So this is something you actually want to implement together. This is what I'm helping guys right here in Tampa do. Just send me a message over on Instagram. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your situation specifically. We'll come up with your clear vision and create a game plan to get there. And I'd love to help you out. So I'll see you then. Later. The 4 things I would do if I was a guy in Tampa who wanted to get lean by summer.